And stop recording. Are you gonna edit it out now?
No. All right. So today what we're going to do is we're going to start writing today just because I don't want to waste time and I don't want to spend too much time doing Social Psychology 1 when I only really need a week for it. So we'll have plenty of time to do everything else. So everyone should have picked up an FRQ sheet today. They're in the front of the room. So I think it's important to understand the context and why I'm doing this when I did it. It's fine. We've only been together, 18 weeks. It's fine. So take a look over here. When we talk about writing, this is the final piece in the AP Psych puzzle that we have. So what is the AP Psych puzzle? On the day of your exam, which is coming up really quickly. Like really, really quickly. You're like 15 weeks away. Which isn't that long, really. Anyway, so your AP Psych exam, there's two major sections. Say section 1 is your multiple choice exam. It's 100 questions. You have 5 options for each, and you have 70 minutes to do so, to answer all of those 100 questions. You've been looking at AP style questions pretty much every week. Week 1 had a little bit less, week 2 had a little bit more, 3, and it's kind of been building. At this point, you guys are mostly AP style questions with a couple like easy low-level ones just to get you a couple points. So those are the types of questions you should be expecting to see, and there's 100 of them total in 70 minutes. It's actually a good amount of time. You don't really need much more. 90% of you are going to finish without a problem. The other 10% are going to finish with a little bit of urgency. How I kind of combat this is I'm going to start doing time tests. So you're going to have a certain amount of time, and I'm going to take it down every single week, take down some time, and you guys just have to be fast. Because if you're not getting the points on the multiple choice, what the hell are you doing? Because it's worth 60% of your grade. You can get a C. You can get a 3 on your multiple choice on your exam just by doing it well. You can get a high 3 on your multiple choice and pretty much earn yourself a 4 with writing your name on that FRQ. So what is really important? You answer all the questions, you have plenty of time, and you can do it quickly, correct? So hence why we're going to start timing. 100 questions is what you have on your midterm. You're also going to see how well you manage your time there, Max, because you have 2 mock exams. So some of you are going to get rocked on the first one where it just goes too fast and you're too slow, and you're going to see that. So that'll help you adjust as well. My kids really don't mess up on the AP exam for the actual structure. There's mistakes or errors. Section 2, so you're going to take a 10-minute break after your multiple choice section, and then you're going to go right into your free response questions. There's 2 free response questions with multiple sub-questions, and then you have 50 minutes to do it. That's pretty tight. We've been practicing for the FRQs all year. You just haven't actually known that that's what we're doing today. You'll start seeing, oh, this is why she does it. Oh, this is why she does it. This is where 33% of your AP exam. So if you want a 3, you can easily get a 3 with just the multiple choice, and you don't even have to write. That's if you do the multiple choice. Pretty much perfect. If you want a 4 or 5, you have to do very well on the you have to do okay on the multiple choice, and you have to do well on the free responses. So if you want college credit, which is 4 or 5 in most universities, you have to be able to write well, which you will because we've been practicing the skill whether you know it or not. Sounds good? So this is the real reason why we're doing everything we're doing. I have a couple extra days, so we're going to start the writing so you can see what it looks like. Today in class, please listen. You have your FRQs in front of you. Today I'm going to go through them, and I'm going to plan with you. Tonight you're going to finish writing them for homework. It's really not that hard. You're going to see me do it here in class. It's really not that hard. Okay? So, FRQs, you shouldn't be scared of FRQs. My AP World kids starting writing the DBQ today. They're terrified, and they should be because it's awful. You guys shouldn't really be that worried, especially when you see what you actually are required to do for your FRQs today. You'll see that it's actually very easy. Okay? So, let's do it then. Alright, so this is the 2014. This is actually a pretty low scoring year for the FRQ, mostly because of one bullet point, which we're going to get to here in a second. And you will see it is 50 minutes.
and it's worth 33%. Directions. You have 15 minutes to answer both of the following questions. Every single year, I have kids come back to me, not my kids. Kids come back to me and say that kids in the gym didn't write the second essay. I'm sorry, what? You have 2 essays. You're going to get a sheet of paper that looks very similar to, you're going to get a pamphlet of, that has 1 question, and then you have to flip a couple pages to get to question 2. You have 2 FRQs. As you'll see, they have bullet points underneath them, and you have to answer each sub-question. Okay? You have 2. If you don't answer, you can only get 16 percentage points. You need to answer both parts. The following questions. This is not enough to answer the question by merely listing facts. You should present a cogent argument based on your critical analysis of the questions posed using appropriate psychological terminology, and I'll explain exactly what that actually means. All right, here we go. In every single FRQ you will ever see, there's some sort of scenario with questions about that scenario. Okay, if you flip to the back, you'll see that there's the scenario. Abraham recently graduated from high school, and there's some identifying factors. Is everyone clear? That's how it's set up. All year long, we've been talking about definition, application, definition, application. Your job is to define whatever they're asking, so independent variable is clearly the first one, and apply it to the scenario they provided for you. That's it. So every single time you get an FRQ, you define, apply, define, apply, define, apply, which is what we've been practicing all year. So, adapted from M.M. Douglin and J.A. Guadalcalo, whatever. Living large, the powerful overestimate their own height. In a study of power and self-image, participants were not told the true purpose of the study. Instead, they believed that they were participating in a business simulation. Researchers randomly assigned participants to a high power or low power condition. In the high power condition, participants recalled a time when they had power over others, and in the low power condition, they recalled a time when others had power over them. Participants were asked to adjust the height in centimeters of an electronic graphical image, an avatar, of themselves to reflect their personal appearance. Results indicated a statistically significant difference in participants' perception of their own height across the 2 conditions. Participants in the high power condition created taller self-images, mean 6.0, standard deviation 1.5, than participants in the low power condition, mean 4.0, standard deviation 1.0. There you go. So that is the scenario in which we have to answer. So here are the questions. Describe the levels of the independent variable. What is an independent variable? What is it? Elijah? No. Who can help out Elijah? What is the independent variable, people? Who's you? Use it. Okay, it's what the experimenter controls. Okay, so when you get your FRQ, you need to mark it up and you need to go through and you need to write out and plan out your essay. Because when we start writing out the answers, you're going to see how much faster and how much streamlined the process is. Okay, so in this experiment, what is the independent variable? Avery, what's that independent variable? There you go, the grouping of high and low power. Okay. Describe how the researchers measured the dependent variable. What is the dependent variable? T. The way participants respond to independent variable. Okay, so in this experiment, what is the dependent variable? T. the height of the avatar. You should probably be writing this down since you're doing this for homework tonight. Okay, so 3 is create a bar graph. This is where people got all mixed up. So people got mixed up on probably the easiest thing. They don't ask for bar graphs very often. They haven't done it since. That year, which I was teaching here at Plant, this is my first year here at Plant, for the first time in like 15 years, they asked people to chart something. Now, I never told my kids they may ask you for a chart, because guess what? They've never asked. In my entire teaching career of teaching AP Psych, they've never asked for a bar graph, so I didn't do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So this is high power, and 4.0 was low power. And my X and Y axis is added inches to avatar. That's all you had to do. And a lot of people just shut down and they didn't do anything. That's a point right there. Just by drawing a stupid little bar chart. So, I cannot prepare you for everything that you could see on the FRQ. On the next side, you're going to see a term you've never seen before. But if you sit there and hash it out, you can probably come up with a very reasonable answer and kind of go from there. You have to be able to read it and kind of apply what you know to it. You should know what a bar graph is. Anyway, so 3, explain why the researchers can conclude that there's a cause and effect relationship between the independent and the dependent variable. So when we say cause and effect relationship, what do we mean? Who can raise your hand and tell me what cause and effect relationship? What do you got? David?
Because they put people in a higher position, and the effect was that they made average higher, so the data would show that there's a correlation.
Okay, how about we stick with both increased their heights in the experiment. Okay. Okay, both increase their heights. A cause-effect relationship, of course, means when one changes, when one thing changes, so does another. I kind of did that one in reverse. It's fine. Explain what statistical significance means. When we see statistical significance here, the results indicate a statistically significant difference in participants' perceptions. What does that mean? What does statistical significance mean? What do you got, Max?
It means the researchers can draw a conclusion based on the statistical evidence. Like, that would,
So a statistical significant means the difference is large enough to be noted. And, okay, so high power, 2 inches more than low power. Okay, so one was 6 with 1.5, the other one is 4. So we're using the experiment to go through. Explain debriefing. What is debriefing? Who can define debriefing? Ella, what's debriefing?
Oh, that's when they tell you before. No, after, right?
Hmm?
Yeah. But the experiment was.
When research ends, they explain results to participants. Okay? So, tying into this experiment, Ella, what would you say?
So they would tell them the results.
Well, yeah, you can't just say they're going to tell them the results.
So they told the outcomes like higher or lower.
Okay, they're going to tell them what? What is the big lie that they told them? It's not a business thing, right? A business simulation, but an experiment. Okay, so take out a sheet of paper, please.
What's that one word for 2 inches more than low power? Is that high power?
High power, yeah. Yeah, the high level, low level, and stuff like that. So you're going to see when we write it out, we're going to add a little bit more meat to what we wrote. We're not just going to write down, but essentially we have it all planned out so we can just go really quickly. Yep. All right, so you should have, of course, your answers right there. Of course, you're going to write your name at the top. Okay, and then with your number, of course. Now, you need to label every time you write an essay. If you use a sheet of paper, you're going to write FRQ 1. If you do not have your FRQs labeled when you turn them in tomorrow, I'm going to take off significant points. Because if your FRQ is not labeled, they will not score it. Now, if you look at the prompt, you obviously were on question 1, obviously, and we have bullet points. What you're going to do is you're just going to write A, and you're just going to label the bullet points A, B, C, D as you go down. They will expect you to do this. It's not a big thing. Now, AP Psych is not English. It is not AP World. I am not asking you to write these massive, beautiful, complex essays. AP Psych is a science, and they want very straightforward and straight to the point answers, which is really wonderful, which is why I don't really worry about the FRQs as much as I do in other things. So, what does that actually mean? So, describe the levels of the independent variables. An independent variable is what the experimenter controls / manipulates in the experiment. Okay, so I've taken our it's what the experimenter controls and I just made it into a complete sentence. Yes? Not hard. If you do not write in complete sentences, they will not score. You have to write in full and complete sentences. So that's our definition. Here's the application. In this experiment, the grouping of participants into high power or low power is the independent variable. All I've done is I've just explained what we wrote in this experiment. I'm tying it directly to, and I make sure I restate what it is. That's it, friend. We're done. Yeah, isn't it great? And then you're going to skip a spot, skip a line, and you're going to write B. Describe how the researchers measure the dependent variable. The dependent variable is how participants respond to the independent variable. Period. The dependent variable in this experiment bless you, is how tall the avatar is when they create it. There you go. That's it. So C, so skip a space once you're done. Label it C, of course, because everything has to be labeled. If you're not labeling it, you're doing it wrong. And you're just going to copy your bar graph here, people. So, copy your bar graph. I've already done it once. The one we already done on the front. Okay? And you go through. If you plan it, you go really quickly. Can we agree? Hello? If you do not plan, you're going to miss things. You're going to screw things up. By looking at your notes and then writing it out, you're going to catch all the details, and it doesn't take up that much time. It is definitely worth it. If you are not planning your essays before you write, you're going to make stupid mistakes. So plan them out. You can fix it as you go, and that's all you have to do. So, your homework tonight is you are going to finish out writing the rest of this first FRQ. Writing out A, B, C, D, E, F. That's all you have to do. Is that fair? We're going to flip it over now to question number 2, and I'm going to help you plan this side. You're going to finish writing out the FRQ for the second side too. Is that clear? So if we get through all of the planning, you and I both know it's going to take you 10 minutes to string everything together. Yes? Okay. So
we're not writing the second one, we're just planning.
Well, if I have time, I will start writing. You know, you're writing. I'm planning it with you in class. You are writing it all out for homework. Complete writing first FRQ and second FRQ is for homework. Everyone clear? This is due at the beginning of class tomorrow. If you do not have it, I will lose my damn mind. Avery, put your phone away, and you better pick up that head, Nico. All right, here we go. So I will give you about an 85% guarantee you're going to have an FRQ on an experiment. Now, it used to be a 99% guarantee, but last year they didn't give one. Okay? Huh? No. You're going to have 2 FRQs, but every year, except for like 2 years in the 30-year history, they've done an experiment one. So that means independent variable, dependent variable, and all that stuff. Last year, they didn't do it. Enraged me. However, I still have an 85% expectation of having an experiment one. This is what the typical format for other ones look like. If you flip it over to question number 2, you will see Abraham recently graduated from high school and began. They give you a scenario, and then you have all of these vocab terms that you have to apply to that scenario. Okay? This is the typical format. Abraham recently graduated from high school and began his first year at a 4-year university. Explain with an example of how experiencing each of the following in the past may affect Abram's ability to succeed in college. So, we're talking about his ability may affect his ability to succeed in college. So, our definitions are going to be the same. Our applications are all going to be based on Abram. Huh? How it affects Abram in college. So instead of us plucking out of the sky, making up whatever we wanted to about the applications, we just have to tie it to this. Okay? So, what is authoritarian parenting style? Who can define it for me? What is it, Maya?
Strict parenting style that is by the rules and by the rules only.
Perfect. So strict parents. Well, how would that affect my boy Abram? Maya.
Well, he would act as his parents would want him to, raise him to be exactly to that perspective and not break the rules.
He'd be rebellious.
I would say he'd be rebellious, right?
Oh, sorry.
He'd be rebellious.
He's unfit.
He'd be rebellious. I don't know if that's how you spell it, but it's fine. Okay, rebellious. He's gonna, like, party, right? There you go. You can make up whatever you want.
So I can see you
As long as you tie it to it, and as long as it's fundamentally reasonable, you're fine. So if you think that identity versus role confusion is going to be a problem for him because his girlfriend broke up with him the week before he graduated, and you write that out, and it's reasonable, it works. You can make this crap up. You are making it up. You don't know Abram. You don't know his problems. You are making it up. So make it up. Some people are like, I just didn't know what to write.
My boy should be joining a frat.
Yes. All right. Identity versus role confusion. What is it?
Not knowing
Whose theory is it?
HDT.
What?
He's an HDT.
I don't even know what you're saying. Whose theory is it? Oh my God, why do I teach? Why do I come to work every day? Great, guys, thanks. This is just the best. How about Maslow?
Yeah.
It's not Maslow. His hierarchy of needs. You know. Oh shit. What is it? Erickson. Damn it. It's Erickson. Remember, in the first stage of it, you have it's when the baby cries to test.
Oh.
You know what I'm talking about.
Trust was.
First mistrust. Yeah. Trust versus mistrust. You had all those different conflicts. Yeah. There you go. So, what is identity versus role confusion? It happens to be the stage you're in, people.
Like trying to figure out.
Society versus who
Okay.
you are versus what society wants you to be.
Who you are and what's your goals. Okay, so how's that going to help my boy or hurt my boy? How is this going to influence my boy Abram and his college experience? What do you got, Morgan?
If he doesn't master this, then he can't move on to the next stage, I guess.
No. It's a lot of writing. We don't have that much time, Morgan. Give me a very concrete example of how this is going to affect him at college, tied very
He doesn't
neatly.
know what he wants to do.
So,
He's confused.
college!
He's gonna be confused.
You can be confused right now about what you want to do, girl, but it ain't college.
He doesn't
He's
know
gonna
what
take it out.
He can't pick a major! Yes! He can't pick a major! Yes! Do you see how stupid this is? The application has to be tied to college. So Morgan can say all day, he doesn't know what he wants to do. No points. He doesn't know what he wants to do, or he can't pick a major. Guess what? Major scores, doesn't know what he wants to do is 0. Can't pick a major is 1. I know, it's so stupid. You have to come up with an actual example that's tied to it. It can be whatever the hell you want.
Can't pick which frat.
There you go. It has to be tied to something in college, a direct example. Does that make sense? It is so stupid. And people lose points on it, but you're not, because you're going to make shit up. Ella, what is unconditional positive regard?
That's the reward.
Okay, I have not taught you this because it's in therapy. And therapy is our last week of content. So, on your AP exam, you may see things that you don't know the answer to, and you're going to say, oh my God, I don't know, screw you, Bennett. Or you're going to sit there and follow it, figure it out.
Well, how are we gonna figure it out? First one and then.
First of all, it says unconditional. So what does unconditional mean, Jackson?
Without conditions.
Yeah, wrong.
What does unconditional mean? I will love you unconditional, Jackson. What does that mean?
Not stop.
Yes, there you go. So unconditional means, nonstop. Sure. Nonstop. Okay? Positive, which means what, Jackson?
It's good.
It's good! Yes! And regard means what? Okay. Regard is how you, in therapy, what the unconditional positive regard means, when you go and you talk to your therapist, no matter what you say, they're going to like you. So if you say, hi, therapist, and they're like, what's wrong, Sam? And I'm like, oh my God, I hate my family so damn much. First of all, my brother is a complete pain in the butt. My sister's delusional. My mom just sits there in ignorant bliss. Okay? And I hate them all. I want nothing to do with them. And they're going to be like, Sam, I get it. That's totally fine. Instead of saying, no, you should be nice to your brother. You should be nice to your sister. They're going to have your back. Okay? So, unconditional positive regard is, no matter what, no judgment. Isn't that nice? How many people do you have unconditional positive regard with? I judge the hell out of all people. So, I don't really have many. What?
Did you get the bedazzled shirt?
Oh my god, I didn't. I already returned it.
Really?
Oh yeah, it was horrible. It
You
was
should've wore it.
no, it was so bad. It was so bad. I got so much clothes.
She has to be messing with you. She has to.
One of them, it had like a glittery brooch sewn onto it. One of them had like a collar of glitter.
Wait, what color is
She didn't come back for her birthday.
And then, oh my god, the scarf she got me, which is nice. Like, I'm obviously very passionate about scarves. Oh my god, where did she find these? They were hideous, but I already returned them, so it's fine. But yeah, I was literally going to take a picture, but I was like, no one's going to care.
You should've.
They were terrible.
Now
All
she's
right.
gonna watch your video and be like, I know what you said.
No, everyone, no, grown-ups have a real life. All right, so unconditional positive regard. How is this going to help my boy Abram? David, what?
Is this like he received that treatment, or has it's part of his personality?
You can argue either way, as long as you make it clear. So, how's it going to help my boy? Think about it. Where should you have unconditional positive regard, people? Your parents.
But they
His
were
parents.
authoritarian style.
Huh?
They were
He hates his
authoritarian.
parents, though.
Yeah, he hates his parents.
He's rebellious.
Yeah, but you're
They're
saying
strict-
how it
they're
could. It's
strict
not. They're
authoritarian.
not connected. You can say whatever the hell you want.
He's an
His
ACT.
parents love him. Love him. So his parents love him. So what is that going to allow him to do?
No matter what
Followers.
He can
Do whatever he wants.
he can try all the majors. There you go. All the majors he wants. There you go. Perfect. You have to tie it to something collegiate. Then you can move on. All right. How much time do I have?
3 minutes.
3 minutes. So whatever I do not finish, it's on you, people. So Abram's first year of university was difficult. He found that he was not successful as he would have liked. Explain with an example of how each of the following may help Abram become more successful in the future. Divergent thinking. What is divergent thinking? Nico.
Thinking of more than one solution.
More than one solution. Okay, so how is it going to help my boy Abram?
You can be like, wait.
No, give me a specific thing.
Oh,
Max.
Methods of study.
Multiple methods of studying. There you go. Elaborative rehearsal. What is it? The faster I go, the less homework you have to do completely by yourself. What's elaborative rehearsal? No, that's called rehearsal. Adding more information. Please don't do that. Adding more info to help remember. Okay, so what would be an example he may use in college?
Adding on to that neuron instead of just going like axon, whatever. Be like, well, this is made of this.
Rapping about neurons, sure. Intrinsic motivation. What's intrinsic motivation? Everyone's clear that you're writing out the first FRQ and the second FRQ needs to be completely written out in the format in which I asked. Morgan.
It's like self-motivation.
Self-motivation. Okay, so what would be an example for him in college?
He studies. I guess.
No.
He goes to class.
No.
Without his parents.
Joining the frat.
David.
For every test he passes, he allows himself to do something. Whatever.
He gets a reward from himself. That's so weird. You're not wrong, David, but like that's weird. Self-efficacy. What is self-efficacy? Self-efficacy is when you advocate for yourself. Okay, so what would be an example of this in college? How's this going to help my boy Abram? Oh, God. Elijah. Talks to professor, sure. Okay, I hope that seeing these FRQs makes you feel pretty good about them. We have been practicing these skills all year. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Definition, application. You might as well use the last moments to write in some stuff so you don't have to do it tonight for homework. Remember the format. Now keep in mind, when you flip your sheet over and do FRQ2, what do you need to write? FRQ2. You need to have everything labeled. If it's not labeled correctly, I'm going to take off a lot of points because I like taking off points. So you might as well use this time to write, or not, apparently.
It's really that simple. All you have to do is put the bullet and then definition and application.